So episode 8 of She-Hulk is officially out. Before I discuss it, go ahead and comment below what you guys thought of the overall episode. I'm going to do a little mini discussion talking about the overall episode and Daredevil himself, because this is the highlight episode of the season. I just want to tell you guys that I thought that this episode is actually the best out of the series so far, which is not really saying much considering the series really has not been doing it for me.
Well, here's the thing, Bruce. I'm great at controlling my anger. I do it all the time. When I'm catcalled in the street, when incompetent men explain my own area of expertise to me, I do it pretty much every day, because if I don't, I will get called emotional or difficult, or I might just literally get murdered. So I'm an expert at controlling my anger because I do it infinitely more than you.
You what?
And a lot of Marvel fans included. I do plan on making a series of videos discussing why I don't think the overall show has worked so far. And I'm not just going to talk about all the elements that we all know what we're talking about. I'm just going to talk from a structural standpoint as well. I'm going to make a series of videos talking about like structural other stuff included in the series that just really does not work. But this episode did work, however. And it's kind of funny because it's not just because it's Daredevil. I also think that this episode works from a 3-act structure much better than the other episodes have, where it's like one episode's like, what's Jen gonna wear for, a wedding, or Jen has to solve a case with an elf or something like that, or Jen's dating life. All those episodes, didn't really have too much of a structure, but this one had the introduction, the conflict, it had the moving into that conflict in the second act, right? And the third act was the conclusion. And actually, it did work a lot better than what I was expecting. Overall, I did like the plot that there's this frog hero that's going around and basically he's suing the costume maker because apparently he had a malfunction and he ended up getting third-degree burns on his legs. But then Matt Murdock exposes him. And then this also leads to Jen and Daredevil encountering each other when Daredevil attacks the frog hero because he's planning on making more of a mess of things. Overall, I do like how they handled the fight scene between Jen and Daredevil because, let's be honest, a lot of people I'm sure are going to be bitter that Daredevil lost the fight, but you gotta understand, even though Jen may not be the most experienced hero, Jen is still a Hulk, and a Hulk should be able to beat a Daredevil relatively easily.
Come on!
Gotcha.
I do like the fact that we did get to see the added agility that this Daredevil in the MCU has. That's really, really cool, and I can see this version of Daredevil teaming up with people like Spider-Man or all these other characters that could potentially cross over with him. I can see that happening with this version. Overall, I do like the suit that they gave him. Really good. The gold and the red looked really, really good, especially seeing it in movement. At first I was like, I don't know how I feel. But looking at it in movement, oh yeah, it's a really, really good looking suit.
My car!
I also really do love small little details that they threw in there for Matt Murdock's character. How his powers work. Basically, he's using something that's very similar to echolocation. And since She-Hulk clapped to beat him, that messed up his hearing and basically essentially what would be his sight, right? One thing that did feel kind of weird, the Man Without Fear getting scared when Jen grabbed him up, like that did feel a bit out of character.
Whoa, 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 Jen!
Matt?
But I'm willing to let it slide though, considering the fact that I was surprised at the amount of chemistry Jen and Daredevil had. Not saying that I agree with everything they did with them, I'll discuss that in a minute, but Tatiana and Charlie Cox do have really good chemistry. And Tatiana is not a bad actress at all. It's just that the show that she's in has not given her much to work with. In this episode, I do feel like they've given her the most to work with out of every other episode, in my humble opinion. But the chemistry that they had together was kind of cute, kind of adorable. I also love the back and forth banter they had as they were fighting goons in his warehouse. Daredevil wasn't really punked out that much in this episode, which was a relief. I mean, except for the whole walk of shame thing he was doing at the end.
Morning.
That was a little bit rough. Wasn't really feeling that. Also was not feeling the fact that Daredevil and She-Hulk slept with each other. I mean, I get it. She-Hulk has had relations with people in the comic books, right? She, at one point, correct me if I'm mistaken, she had relations with Wolverine at one point in the comic books, right? And, you know, I mean, I get it. That's what she does. But at the same time, I'm just like, Jen, you keep on, like, going for every dude, and, like, you don't do either one date and then head straight to the bedroom, or you just head straight to the bedroom. Like, you gotta have more self-respect for yourself. And ultimately, that did lead into the end of the episode that I actually found very surprising. That could potentially work for the next episode if they do it properly. And they basically release a sex tape at this award ceremony for Jen, embarrassing her, making her freak out, and she basically gets surrounded by a bunch of armed men who are going to take her in. So ultimately, I'm interested to see what they're going to do with that, what they're going to lead into with Jen's character. I have not liked her character at all in this series, but that's at least something I'm somewhat curious to see is going to happen. It's probably not going to lead anywhere, knowing the show, but all in all, I will say that this episode was not bad. It's not a great episode. It's not anything that's outstanding, but I will say that it was pretty solid. It was actually a solid episode in the series. I will give the series that. I'm not trying to go into hate just to hate. I don't do that. I will give credit where credit is due, and this was actually a solid, somewhat good episode. I will give it to you. And a lot of the humor in this episode actually worked a lot more than the other episodes. So that was also very surprising. Also, Daredevil's debut was actually pretty interesting. Definitely not the darker version from the Netflix series. Which is interesting because they said that Born Again is not a continuation of the Netflix series, which is weird because how are you guys going to play the Daredevil theme from the actual show but not have it be connected to that? Like, that makes no sense to me. It's clear that they're going to go in a lighter direction with the character, which I'm not sure if I'm opposed to that or for it. I can't say for sure. I guess we can only see what's going to happen with that series and Echo. Not like I want to see an Echo series. I just want to see a Daredevil series. Solid episode still. But what did you guys think of the episode? What do you think's going to happen in the next episode, I guess? You guys subscribe, hit the bell icon for when I release those She-Hulk videos and also my Halloween videos for the rest of the month. Like, share, and subscribe today to join the Idealization.